Ngoro kuria nyama kimanyendagia phone accessories mahinda maria ndaiguire wira wakwa no acoka thi ni ndathire kwa Best Masako na makindeithia na mbeca cia ku boost wira mahire 500 na riu wira wakwa ni ukirite no gathi wega muno ingikwira wi hau muhuri wa biashara uraigwo hinyiririkite kana wira waku wi thi ni urabatara ku boostwo thie kwa Best Masako ni meguteithia na ndurabatara nginya kuyuria maratathi maingi
araniria na ithwe kuhitukira 0712 228 490 kana wigire rurenda rwa www.bestmasako.co.ke.
Jina ni Apostle Ndora Waroinge kutoka The Synagogue ama Crusaders for Christ hapa Nairobi. Tena ni wakati mwingine mwafaka tumekutana hapa kwa ajili ya kuzungumzia mawili matatu yanayohusu taifa letu, nchi yetu, yanayohusu pia ulimwengu kwa jumla, because the world they say is a village, it's a global village where things are just happening. But my greatest concern ni moja tu, hii tunaona, juzi niliona watu mkubwa intelligence, mkubwa army, wamekutana. Previously kuna siku nilisema kuna mambo matamshi ambayo yanatamkwa na watu ambao yanaweza kuchochea, yanaweza kuleta shida katika taifa letu. Na ni vizuri sana tukue waangalifu, wale ambao tunazungumza, mimi nikiwemo na wengine, wale watu wako na YouTube pages, Twitter, TikTok, ni TikTok na zingine hizo zote, sababu kila mtu amekuwa media station ya mwenyewe, which means there is no control of anything, there is no control of whatever we are saying, there is no control of whatever we are emanating, ile ambao tunaachia watu. Sisemi watu wakue controlled. Kenya is a civilized nation, ni nchi ambayo iko na watu walio na maendeleo yao kibinafsi. Lakini ingekuwa ni vizuri hata kama tumeendelea, hata kama tuko na uhuru wa kuongea, uhuru wa kusema, uhuru wa kufanya, pia tukue na limitations za kuangalia kwamba nchi ni yetu hii. Tupende nchi yetu. Na hiyo ndio tunaita uzalendo. Katika kuwa na uzalendo ni kupenda nchi hii, kupenda nchi yako, maana hii nchi, it is the only one in the world. We don't have another nation called Kenya. We don't have a replica, nor do we have something that can be substituted. Nchi hii tuko about 45 million people. Na ikichafuka kutakuwa ya Wasomali, si Somali wa Kenya, Wasomali. Kama Kenya inaweza vujika, isaparatike, ingekuwa raha sana kwa. Then another thing that you are not seeing, Kenyans, na hiyo ndio nataka sana mkuwe vigilant. The more unaona statements zinatoka kwa wakubwa, zinakuanga ni agenda ya kuseti watu ndio waendelee kuongea na wakuwe na kitu ya kusugumusia. Na wakisugumusia saa hiyo ndio serikali inakuanga inapitisha maneno na inafanya maneno in the darkness without you, because uko busy ukisema mkubwa wa intelligence alisema, mkubwa wa jeshi alisema. Let me tell you, my brothers and my sisters, that they create stories for you. You keep speaking, you keep talking as they are doing some other things. By the day utakuja kurealize inchi ishachukuliwa. Kama sasa usimunaona kuna hii kitu inaitwa IEBC, watu wanachaguliwa. Wao unasema tu ati Ruto must go, umewekwa kwa mdomo Ruto must go. Wengine mnawekwa kwa mdomo this must do. But you are not discussing, nor are you scrutinizing to see or to know what is really happening behind the doors, behind your backs. There is something that is happening. There is something wrong that is happening. The country is being ripped, center, left, right. There are people who are just taking everything. When you are busy picketing. Picketing is allowed. Picketing, na unaona wanakaga kidogo, unasikia wameshika aoko. Nyinyi yote mna concentrate na aoko. Ukakaa kidogo, mnasikia anaitwa nani huyu mama? Kuna mama Mobi, Dr. Mobi. Unasikia Dr. Mobi amegogwa rugu ya kichwa. Sasa mnaongea Dr. Mobi. Sasa hiyo unasikia commissioner wa ABC walipitishwa bila wewe kujua. Unasikia mswada fulani ulipitishwa bila wewe kujua. Hii ni serikali iko na wakora wa kisiasa ambao wanajua kupanga na wanajua kutumia akili yako na wanajua kutumia time yako. So it's very important for us all to be sober up and turn back. See what is happening behind the scene. You might be thinking, hiyo kitu wanasema that is where they are. They are not there. They were creating an agenda for you to stalk and to forget about yourself as they do their things, as they do their shenanigans. That is what they are doing. So avoid these people. Avoid kabisa. Na nyinyi watu wa serikali, please, tunawaomba sana watu wa army, watu wa intelligence, watu wa polisi, watu civil servant, watu wa siasa, minister, all these kind of things. Let us try to avoid. Vitu kama sasa unaona Ruto ile kitu anajua kuplan, anaachilianga pisi kitu kanyama kidogo unawacha ukikula, mnakulana kama maumbo pale kando akipaga maneno yake. Sasa huyu jamani kujipaga, anajipaga. Unasikia ameambia Supit, anaitwa Supit. Ni Supit. Anaitwa Supit. Supit anasema kanisani kwake hakuna kusugumusa. Anaenda Nyeri anakatasa wa Munyoro asiogee huko Nyeri. Alafu vijana wanawekwa hapo nje wanakasirikia wa Munyoro. Sasa this is an agenda, a very demonic agenda that people are subjected to, but they don't understand what it is. If you are careful, you can see this is a replica of the Moi politics, where Moi was sacking somebody today because he want to do something, and then you would complain 1 month about that person that was sacked, only to come and kumbuka kuja kujua kwamba washapitisha hii. When we were busy talking, they were petitioning something. Angalia Raila juzi amesema alisaidia kuzuia mapinduzi ya serikali. Ni serikali gani ilikuwa inapinduliwa? Na hiyo ni treason. Lakini hawashiki mtu na ni treason. Na ni treasonable. Na hiyo ni kitu inafaa mtu anyogwe kama Duta. Sasa angalia, they never arrested anybody, they kept you talking. As you are talking, wamepitisha maneno, wameiba pesa, wamefanya kitu huko chini. Let us be careful. Let us be very vigilant with what these government people are saying, and anything destructive measures ambazo wako nazo kushika watu, ama watasikia wamekuja wameenda Mathare wamebomoa nyumba kama 10, mna concentrate, mnaanza kusema Ruto must go, mnafanya kitu kingine. They are working, they are eating, they are destroying, they are plundering the nation, as you are busy saying Ruto must go. Kama ni kugo, wacha go kabisa, na isikuwe ni kurudi nyuma. Tuende tukiedaga, tuende tukimpelekaga nyumbani Sugoi, na hata kifika Sugoi tumupeleke na hapo kwa Kaguta, maana Kaguta ni rafiki yake. Si alimpatia mang'ombe, waende wakakaende kwa Kaguta, ama waende hapo mbele kidogo M23, ama tumukibisi hapa Sudan. Si uliona kuna kitu then when kulikuwa na turmoil na vitu mingi, watu wameanza kuzungumzia mambo ya Ruto. Unajua Ruto alifanya nini? Alienda akachukua wale watu wa Sudan wanaitwa RSF, akawaambia kujeni muronji kitu hapa Kenya. Mukapiga makelele, media zenu zote zikaconcentrate na hapo. Chini ukasikia mtu fulani amebadilishwa. Ikakaka kidogo wakafunga Waitito mumeongeza Waitito, vitu vimepitishwa. Wakakaka kidogo wakafanya kitu kingine, hizo vitu zinapitishwa. Sasa wamesema Kaharedi na mtu wa NSIS wamesema eti sometimes mtazuiliwa kusema Ruto must go. Ruto must go. Ruto mwenyewe alisema Uhuru must go. Hakuna mtu alimzuia. Sasa yeye Ruto unataka kuzuia wengine kwa nini? Na wewe kuzuiliwa. Wewe ulitembea na ndege Kenya mzima ukitukana Uhuru, ukafanya maneno mbaya ya Uhuru. Sasa hizi wewe sasa ukiongelelewa tu, na hata hujatukana venye ulitukana Uhuru. Au kusema hakuna mtu amesema wewe ni mlevi, hakuna mtu amesema wewe sijui ni nini, hakuna mtu amesema wajinga walisha Kenya, hakuna mtu amesema nini. Lakini sasa unasema watu watanyogwa wakisema Ruto must go. This is not what he means. He is doing something. Ukisikia wameongea kitu tu, there is something under wanafanya. Kuna kamupago inaendelea. Sasa utasikia chairman wa IEBC amechaguliwa, utasikia makomishona wote wamechaguliwa, and you did not participate. Lakini ukiangalia makaratasi utasema kulikuwa na public participation, ilifanyika Murang'a kwanza kwenu hapo iche. Na ukiangalia utapata signature yako iko hapo, ulisign. Na wewe ujui ulikuwa tunangangana ukisema Ruto must go ama nini must go. So let us be very vigilant on what is happening. The transactions that are happening today, the transactions that are happening tomorrow, they are not meant for good. So these guys are working overnight to make sure that you are completely defeated. Kumbuka the other day, ngati kama Duale amebadilisha, amekuja minister for agriculture. Why kwani Duale tu ndio minister ambaye yako na akili mingi? Alikuwa kwa jeshi, akatoka kwa jeshi akapelekwa environment, ametoka si environment, kabla ya environment alikuwa kwingine. Kuna mahali alikuwa ndio akakuja environment. Sasa amekuja Herod. Dr. Duale sasa ndio anatuduka shindano, ndio anatuduka watoto wetu, ndio wanatuduka shindano pale Pumwani, wawekwa kile kakitu na Duale. Na ulisikia Duale alisema watu wa Somalia wamezaana na wako tayari kuchukua nchi, na nyinyi mko hapo Pumwani mnang'edia tu na mumeletewa mtu hapo ule anawekaga vitu mamili, and you cannot see it. It is very important for you to understand. It's very important for you to know this, that we need a very peaceful nation. We need our future. We need our destiny. We need our priority. We need our inheritance. Kenya is proud of itself and we are proud of being Kenyans. And therefore, na kuomba tu mchange watu mabloggers, watu wa kusikiliza hizi vitu za matikitoko, na watu wa YouTube, na watu wa X, sijui ni nini mulikanso, na watu wa hiyo kitu ingine. Let us be vigilant. Stop just following things for the sake of following things or for the crowd chasing. Let us now be a bit critical. Things are being done. Wewe ukifikiria ni Ruto must go. Wewe ukifikiria ni this has to happen. No, things are being done behind the scenes. Go scrutinize. Ni nani alichagua nani? Anaitwa nani? Duale. Nani atarudishwa kwenye, because the law says ukitolewa kwa ministry lazima you go for vetting again. Na nimemwona ameruka kwa ofisi. Was he vetted by who? Was alivetiwa na nani? And why, what led him to be removed from? Yes, it is ni prerogative ya president kufanya hivyo, lakini also the constitution says somebody must be vetted. Has he been vetted? Na sio hiyo tu, na mingine mingi. Hizi vitu nasikia commissioners za ABC zinaendelea. Why are we not being told publicly? We announce what is happening. Or because you have kept us busy, we are not able to understand or to know. For me, I want to tell you, Kenyans, brothers and sisters, let us be careful. Our country will be sold. For us to come, utakuta mauksionia wako kwa murago yako, ama wenye inchi wale walinunua inchi wako kwa murago yako wakivabia, unatoka lini? Maana hiji iliuso na wao kujua. Na unajua watu ni hatari. Ni wale watu waliusa kwa adani. Ni wao hakuna kitu hawezi kufanya. Let us be vigilant, my brothers, for the sake of peace and tranquility, for the sake of love and for the sake of the unity of this country. Let us go to that purpose, a purposed nation and a purposed media. Let us all improve on our standards of media. Let us all improve on what we are reporting, what we are not reporting. Let us improve on it. Let us improve in the dignity of preserving our nation. Tulinge na nchi yetu, na tutetee nchi yetu, na tupiganie nchi yetu. Na kama Ruto must go, itafanya nchi yetu ikuwe safe. Ruto must go. Thank you.
Apostle, to start with the questions, nitakuuliza swali kuhusiana na the statement ya CDF Kahariri na NIS Director Nevin Haji. When we speak about CDF, Kahariri took over after the death of one General Ogolla. So my question is, there are a lot of theories that surrounded the plane crash that led to Ogolla's death. Should we come into a conclusion as Kenyans that the death of Ogolla was not just a normal death or a normal accident that happened for Kahariri to be there and to start telling us that it's against the constitution for somebody to say Ruto must go?
You're asking about a normal death or?
Yeah, can we say that?
Yeah, just let's stick there. You're asking about a normal death.
Yeah, was it?
What is an abnormal death, or how does abnormal death look like, according to you?
Maybe an orchestration.
Do we have a black market death? Do we have a black market death?
No. I mean, in terms of planning and there are
no.
Allegations about the assassination.
Everybody has a style of dying. Yeah, kila mtu ako na style yake ya kukufa. Unaweza kukaa tu hapo na ukodoe macho na uende. Hiyo ndio style yako, hiyo ulitengenezewa, utakufa. Kama mtu alianguka na ndege, hiyo ndio style. Don't speculate too much. The man died and his story ilija. When you die, umewekelewa kwa hiyo jiwe, watu watalia siku 2-3 na watakuja waseme eulogy, unawaambia mke wako they will be with you, na watoto to stand with you. That's the end of the game. What I want us to concentrate much on, unajua mimi am a follower of Jesus Christ and I love Jesus Christ. Na Jesus Christ alituambia watu wale wamekufa wazike watu wao wale wamekufa. Wacha wakufu. Ni wakufi. Wazike wakufuo. Si ndio? So let us deal with the people who are alive because you are alive. The most important thing to understand, the statement made by Kahariri and the statement made by Nur Haji, they made the statement in an intelligence institution, meaning there is a message they were passing to the people they were graduating or the people they were speaking to. You know now, when you go to a football pitch where we have fans, watu kama Arsenal, Manchester, then you issue a statement from there. You are speaking to footballers. When Kahariri was speaking last night, he was speaking to the intelligent people, and also his counterboss also speaking to the people in the intelligence. So to me, the question you could have asked me, is there any plan orchestrated, or could they be passing a message to their fellow colleagues at work? From now, start tracking people, start arresting people. We hear this person akifanya hivi, arrest. Ukiona mtu ameposti kitu fulani kwa posti yake, arrest. Could they be preparing you psychologically for imminent arrest in the nation? You the bloggers, you the vloggers, you the podcast people, you the newspapers. Could there be, because there is also a tiff between the Standard newspaper or the Standard group and the Ruto himself, because the headlines ambazo zimekuwa kwa Standard, they are hard hitting. And sasa unasikia some vloggers and bloggers wameanza kusema ni kama Standard imeenda beyond the mipaka ya waandishi wa habari. Could there be a preparation where now people will be hit? And number 3, which is very critical, na hiyo ndio nataka muangalie sana. Could it, ukiona ile maneno Ruto anafanya, ni vitu anafanya kama ni kuinsight, insight. He's pushing this nation kwa kona kabisa. It's like he's looking for nyinyi watu mnasukumago mpaka wapi ndio mreact. Sasa unaona anaenda kutembea Central na anafuta mtu wa Central. Na anaenda next week Central. Ni kumaanisha nini? Na watu wanapenda huyu mtu. Na watu ndio wanaokosa kusema Ruto must go. Could it be anaset hawa watu wakifika huko wapigwe na mawe? Venye Kenyatta alienda Kisumu, akaenda kwa Wajaruo, akajipitia katikati yao ndio amrushie mawe, ndio our discipline. Could it be kuna watu wanapush sana ndio watu wa react, ndio kutangazwa state of emergency? Because when you see the intelligence man, there's mtu wa mjeshi, mtu wa polisi wako hapo, wanatoa statement wao, kuna preparation ya kitu. Could be a state of emergency ambayo inatafutwa. Na inatafutwa na nini? Wewe nakuja na kuduka kwa kidole kwa macho yako ndio ureact. Sasa umekataa kureact, nitakugoga mguu na teke. Ukikataa kureact, nitakutemea mate kwa uso. Ukikataa kureact, nitakuchapa kofi, ndio ureact. Ndio na mimi nifanye niseme age is ungovernable. Therefore we need to suspend the constitution for about 6 months. Ndio iji kwe governable. Mimi naona ka direction hako ndio ile vitu wanafanya ni kusu. Sasa ukiambiwa Moi ati Ruto must go, umeambiwa unyamaze, si ni kumaanisha umekuwa incited uiseme kesho? Because this is provocative. Ni kuambia what we are doing, we are preparing people for ile tunasema usiseme Ruto must go. Obviously nitasema Ruto must go. Sasa in fact wamefanya Kenya mzima sasa itakuwa kiongea Ruto must go, Ruto must go. Why do they want this thing? Iibwe. Because ukitaka kushinda mtu munyamazie. Lakini kama unataka tu kuchokoza mtu ndio aongee tena umugoge, tena aongee tena umugoge, you keep talking about him. You keep talking about something. So could it be, because these are two important, very important people. When it comes to state of emergency, this is an intelligent person, this is an army person, those are the most critical people in the declaration of a state of emergency. And also maybe the Chief Justice. Angalia Chief Justice mama ndiwa kukanyagiwa. So all avenues that can lead to this state of emergency zote zimefunguka. Na kwa hivyo ni kumaanisha kuna kakitu, na ukiangalia venye Moses Kuria walikuwa naongea na huko, unaona hawa watu kuna kitu wanachokosa, because kuna kitu wanataka kufanya ambayo imejificha sana, na wanataka kutumia wananchi ndio waiongee, ndio wao waseme, mseme nyinyi ndio mlianza. Hiyo ndio maoni yangu. Sijui kama ulikuwa unaona hiyo kitu in that dimension.
Yes, it makes sense. My other question is in regards to our officers in IT. The other day we had a video circulating online of one of the officers ambaye aliweza kuuawa kule. And the family yesterday also spoke in regards to the said case. Na the government imeweza kusema kwamba the man is currently missing, not dead. Yet we also the gangsters in Haiti playing with the ball.
Yeah.
And
So
my question to you, what does the war in Haiti benefit Kenya?
it benefits Kenya by benefiting a Kenyan. It's very beneficial to Kenya because it's benefiting a Kenyan. Are you getting me? There's a Kenyan who is benefiting. There's a Kenyan who is taking the money or taking everything that is happening there. But the most important thing here that you need to ask yourself, there are three things I want to look at critically. And these three things I want us to look at critically. One is an obvious one, because this is a soldier. This is a guy who is, they're saying, disappeared. He's not a civilian. He's a soldier who was carrying a gun. Was the gun for making porridge? What is it for? For killing. So he had gone there to kill. And he has signed, I am trained to kill. Are you getting me? Yes. So, and the gangsters, they are also trained to kill. To kill who? The enemy. The enemy who is the soldier. And this one, they know our enemy is the gun. So on that level, there is nothing to be sympathetic about. Because this man, as he got into the plane, or as he came from the training camp, they signed certificate that you will, yani utakufa, yani umesign kifo as you are serving your nation. As you are carrying the gun, as you are serving the nation, you can die. As long as you die in the line of duty, you're a hero. That's law, that is how it is, and that's how it must be treated like so. That is point number one. Sympathy goes off automatically, because this man who died on the line of what? Of duty. And he has signed for that, and he is paid for that. And the family, when he left the family, he told the family, I'm going to fight gangs. These gangs is not that they are going to close their eyes and they wait to be killed. They are killed, and then they come and walk over. They went for a warfare, a battle. Meaning, you can lose your life, you can also lose somebody's life. Okay? Now, point number two. Were we so much, was it a rallying call, or was it so necessary for Kenya to go to Haiti? How many kilometers are from here to Haiti? And how many neighboring countries that are stable? Haiti speaks French. Why can't we send French people there? Haiti.
I didn't understand that.
You didn't understand it? Wow. So there are so many nations that are closer to Haiti, because you see, soldiers in Somalia, when we have this the mission, peace mission, we send soldiers from Kenya, Burundi, Rwanda, neighboring countries, Ethiopia, neighboring countries. And in many occasions, not unless we have a very special occasion, where we send, like when we had people in Yugoslavia, and in Yugoslavia there were so many other nations that were there. But why was so much interested that Kenya to lead a Haiti mission? What could be the reason? And what could happen? Why were Kenya so involved? Why did other nations ignore the call of the American to go and fight? Yes, some other nations are going there. Jamaica is going there, and other nations have gone there. But why was it so necessary for Kenya to be taken there? Was there any greedy among some Kenyans that they take soldiers there because they thought it was a walkover. Because, no, they construed Barbecue and the gangsters as Mungiki members because they know they have dealt with the Mungiki members, they have dealt with the Al-Shabaab. For them, it was a walkover and just finishing up. They didn't know that that is a nation which is guided by altars, the altars of voodoo, and they give sacrifices of human being by doing the voodoo, and therefore they are fighting using voodoo. Therefore, why was Kenya so important? I have two guys who are members of my church who went there. I don't know, I have not received any communications whether they are still alive or not. But I have two members that we normally do crusades with them. They're not necessarily our member, but we do crusades with them. So we worship together, we fellowship together. I have not heard of them. But my point number 2 was asking my question. Why was it so important? And why was it so necessary? How important was it for this nation? And how beneficial was it economically? What was the benefits that we were going to get? And number 3, America, the reason America was supporting, or the people behind the supporting of what was happening, was not the Trump. It was Joe Biden thing. Now when Trump came, he has withdrawn all the finances that were given towards international missions. Could it be that our countrymen are exposed to dangers? Could it be our countrymen are suffering because money has been withdrawn, support has been withdrawn from the other side? And could there be another force fighting alongside the gangsters? Could it be Russia is involved supporting these gangsters? Because I don't see how these gangsters can be able to defeat everybody. So these are many questions. These are 3 factors I wanted to look at. But about the issue of a soldier dying while fighting, that is not supposed to make us cry because he was in the line of duty.
Thank you for that. I think my last question I will ask in regards to one Aden Duale, the current appointed cabinet secretary of health. Duale karibia wiki mbili ama tatu zilizopita, he made a certain statement, and the statement was in regards to the refugee camps that we have in Kenya. We have Dadaab and Kakuma. There are over 4 million. He said that there are over 4 million refugees there. And according to Duale, that these people have numbers that can make a president in the country. So he was requesting that these people be given ID cards.
Yeah.
Apart from that question of these refugees, there is also another deal that about 2 or 3 weeks ago we were informed that it was being negotiated between the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, to relocate the Gaza war victims from Palestine, wakuje wawekwe Kenya, to resettle them in Kenya. And I think that our President William Ruto, is in agreement with that. What is your take on this?
You know, resettling people in Kenya, while Ruto is the president, and there is cash involved. You think now Ruto can say no? Ruto. It is being done, and currently the UK is repatriating their people to Rwanda. It's a means, the economy has gone down. And this economy, after they invaded Russia and they closed borders with Russia, they thought it's Russia that is going to go down. Unfortunately, they are going down completely. You go to Germany, the economy has sunk. Go to UK, the economy has sunk. That is why they want to offload the people who are dependent. Because when you have a refugee in your country, you feed them. And so what they want basically to do is to bring them out from your nation, so that another nation can can bear the responsibility. It will be the most unfortunate thing for Kenya to allow such a thing. because you can see those guys in Gaza, what they have done. And again, many of these guys are suicide bombers. They are criminals, they are gangs, and these guys, they can do anything. And more especially when they're in a country like Kenya, where we have a porous border and not very good security systems. These people will come and outwit everything, and the next time you hear that the country has been destroyed, has been blown up. But this is a Duale agenda. Leave alone any other story. This is a Duale agenda, because for Duale is how can we recruit as many Kenyans as possible, as many Ugandans as possible, as many Somalians as possible, as many Ethiopians as possible, as many Sudanese as possible, as many DRC Congo, many number as possible, because they know that they are minus the Kikuyu vote, and they want to replace that 4 million vote with some other body, some other people that who will come and replace by giving them the votes. That's why Ruto did not start his campaigns of moving around Nairobi from anywhere else. He started from Eastleigh, because Eastleigh, that is where you have the closest catch, the people who are so happy with him when they had ideas will never be vetted. And that's why so many of them came out, because they are now his good friends. But despite looking at the vote that we might get from these guys, also let us look at our future, the future of our nation, the security of our nation, and what really happens tomorrow. Tomorrow is very important. Tomorrow is very, very important. These people, they destroyed their nation in Somalia. They came to stay in Dadaab, they stay in Kakuma. They have refused to go back, yet their country is okay. And they just want to eat everything from Kenya. And they want to steal. If you go to Eastleigh, there are many of them. They are living there. They have no IDs. They have no passports. They are just living in Somalia, Somalia Ndogo, that is Eastleigh. And that's a challenge of insecurity we're having. There's a challenge of having the counterfeits in the country. There's a challenge we are having political problems and political turmoils in this country, because we have people who have no interest at heart of this nation.
Story na trend ya agency, kuna msichana mkoni wa Kenya 12.8 million na traveling agency. Na juu hii kitu imekuwa kijirudia, maybe you unaweza what's your take? What should government do for avoiding kitu itajirudia sana?
Kama pyramid hazijaizuiliwa, bado zinaendelea. Kama hii inaitangwa hii ya jicho, what do you call it? Bitcoin, sio Bitcoin, iCoin, sini kitu kama hiyo, ile walikuwa wanachukuliwa jicho. It's still there, it's still going on. That's why we say I'm just nimezungumzia kuhusu the security systems, the arrangements, and how to make our country become more secure. And that's why we must do something that stop any illegal immigrants to the country. Number 2, hii mambo ya kupeleka watu ng'ambo. Kama sasa juzi, I saw kule kwa Jesus Winner, there are over 5,000 people ambao wameambiliwa kazi ya kwenda Korea. And a girl came here because we have a circle. She had come to borrow money. Ndio nimpatie pesa. She was borrowing 300,000 za commission ambayo inapatiwa Jesus Winner ndio apate makaratasi. So nikamuuliza, how sure are you they're going to take you? Anasema tumeitishwa tu, and we are going to be shortlisted for those people who are going to go. How many people that are going to be hoodwinked? Or yes, they are going to pay, maybe they pay 100,000. There were over 5,000 people. And this 5,000, you multiply by 5,000. Is how much? It's like 50 million. See, ile kiwanja ni 50 million ama ni 5 billion. Could be something like that. See, ile kiwanja wanasema wanataka bilioni ngapi? Kununua? Wanataka 4 billion. Sasa ukipata watu 10,000 wakupatie, wacha tufanye hii hesabu. Tukipata watu 10,000 wakupatie 100,000. So hiyo ni bilioni 1. Si imepunguza deni ya shamba. So, Mombi, what I'm trying to say here is, ukiona mtu ananyakunyang'anya amechukua 12 million kutoka kwa watu, na hii kitu imekuwa watu wengi wamekuwa conned, na watu wengi najua, hata I used to have 2 workers in my company ambao walikuwa wamefanya hiyo kazi ya kupeleka watu Canada, na walikuwa wamekoni over 7 million shillings. Na siku hizi bado na wananga wako walikuja wakashikwa, then I saw in 2 days 3 days they were walking. But why do you still think that a person akona yeye anaishi Kenya, yeye anakuabiria kazi mzuri sana Canada, anakuabiria kazi mzuri sana UK, na yeye anaishi Kenya na haso ati anachidaka kwa desk akitafuta watu wa kuenda, yeye mwenyewe anatembea na kwa matatu, na si yeye, mbona yeye asiende hiyo kazi kwanza? Why these people are so good for you, but they don't even care about themselves? Ndio kuna vitu vingine tunafaa tutumie akili tu kujiuliza. Wacha wagogwe.
Do you think hizo agencies zinafaa maybe kufungwa kwanza ndio kujulikane the right one?
No, not kufungwa. Wewe si uende kwa hiyo ofisi, kwa hiyo agency, uulize license zao. And nowadays you go to your phone, una Google, unaangalia, unauliza hii agent iko, wanakuambia iko. Unajua who are the directors, who are this. Then you get to know whether the government has recognized them. Because these are not even agents. Si anakuangi hata agent kama hii Aduta na watu wao. Si agent, ni mtu mmoja, mimi mwenyewe nafungua ka ofisi ka desk moja.
Huyo ni msichana mwenyewe yuko.
Msichana mgani?
Huyo mwenye ametoka
ni mtu mmoja. It's not an agency. Uliingia ofisi yake ukamuuliza where is your license? Ukuingia. Wewe tu kwa sababu ya tamaa yako unataka tu kwenda ng'ambo, na pesa hata wewe ni kuiba uliiba. Maana kupatia na milioni moja, unapatia na milioni, ulikuwa umetoa wapi? You don't have pain for your 1 million. Unajua kuna vitu zingine ni ujinga tu tukuanda koga nayo. Ati ni shida. Shida gani hii unanyang'anywa milioni mzima? Sincerely. Huyo ni mtu ako na shida. Mtu ananyang'anywa milioni mzima? Hapana. Kama mtu angekwambia nilidanganywa, so I'm emotionally. Nilidanganywa nitatafutiwa kazi. So emotionally nasikia uchungu. Sasa huyo tunaweza kufeel. Maana alidanganywa atapelekwa na hakupelekwa kwa sababu alikuwa anaenda kutafutiwa kazi kwa sababu hana pesa. Sasa huyo anatoa milioni mzima 1.5. Wa Canada wale wanapelekwa Canada wanatoa 1.5. Wa America wanatoa 1.5. Where did you get the 1 million? 1.5 ulitoa wapi? Na hauna kazi. Na hauna pesa, wewe ni maskini. Wale watu tunaweza kuhurumia ni wale walidanganywa, ni wazazi pua, yeye ni mwenyewe ni pua, akadanganywa atapelekwa na hakupelekwa. Sasa tuanze kufeel emotionally. The emotions, si alifeel, alikasirika. Maneno hii kwenda venye anataka. Those are the people we should cry for. But mtu, hebu imagine wewe huko. Ushaiweka milioni moja kwa account wewe? Mopi. Ushaiweka milioni moja kwa account? Hata 100,000 ushaiweka? Toke tu kweli. Ndio unyang'anywe. Mopi, just let us listen. Uche to think pamoja. Ndio unyang'anywe milioni moja, 1.5. Uliitoa wapi na hukuiba? Na wewe sisi brother ya Kasongo. Unajua kama tungesikia wewe ni cousin ya Kasongo tungefikiria. Wewe kwenu ati wewe umetoka Mogoiri na huko ndani kule umekuliwa na dutu lakini umelipa 1.5 million. Mobi. Si mnafanyisanga watu kazi msito. Wacha watu wagogwe. Yes.
Earlier today you hosted Israelites. Are you the one who looked for them or they looked for you? And what was the aim of them coming here?
They looked for me all the way from America. And I had never seen them, but they looked for me. They said that they have identified me as one of the people that are advocating about the genuine Israelite that are Kenyans. And literally they were coming to see their brother. You could see they look like Muranga people. Need to gati. And I know we are going to do more. And it has prophetically, it has been said that these people from America will be flocking to Kenya to search for their identity. And I've seen 2 weeks ago I hosted some. This week I have hosted some, and next week I'm going to host about 300 of them.
Have you heard anything about Muthamaki wa Thayo coming from Mount Kenya?
Yes, Muthamaki wa Thayo comes from Mount Kenya. That's the Prince of Peace. The people from Mount Kenya are one of the 12 tribes of Israel. And the Muthamaki wa Thayo is not coming from any other tribe. It's coming from Judah, the tribe of Judah. You know, you can be a Mogekoyo, but you are the tribe of Benjamin. Or somebody is the tribe of Naphtali. Or somebody is some tribe of Judah. It's like clans where you have the Aboy, Ajiko. The one that is coming is from the tribe of Judah. And this tribe of Judah, let me be a little bit clear because I've never said this. I want to say it today for the sake of clarity. The Muthamaki wa Thayo is not coming from Murang'a, from Nyeri, nor from Kiambu. Originally, they might come from those places, but the Muthamaki is coming from Nakuru County. Are you getting me? Will be coming from Nakuru County. He might have come from Nyeri or from Kiambu, but the recurrent residence of that person is from Nakuru County. And this man came long time ago. Came about around 19 years ago. When was it? 2019. 2019. Is it 2019? 2019, 16, 19. Yeah. 2019, that's when this man, is it 2019 really? 19, it is 1920.
1920.
Is it 19? We are in 2019.
Yeah.
1920 ilikuwa lini? Sio iko. Yeah, it is 2019. 2019. Because if you minus 2019, subtract 400 years, 16, 19. Are you getting me? 1619, that is when the first slave was taken away from Kenya. Yes, 1619. So these are the 400 years of slaveliness that we read in the Bible. The children of Israel went into slaveliness of 400 years. Now this man is the Moses who is meant to liberate the children of Israel from the yokes of the Egyptian, the Nilotes, from the Nilotes. Then he will remove them from the Nilotes, then take them to Canaan. And this happened 2019. That's when the real journey started. But there are 13 more years, because it was 413 years that took them to the wilderness. So this 2019 plus 2013 plus 13 years, we are in 2025. So that's so. Mm-hmm. So 2019 plus 13, that's 2021. Okay? 2019 plus 13, 2031. Yeah, 2031. We are in 2025. So we have 5 or 6 more years for these things to be perfected. Yes.
What have you learned?
But from this month, as we're getting into April, there will be rapid transitioning. And the rapid transitioning is not about the king himself. It's about the infrastructure of the government of heaven, the infrastructure. Hiyo ndio inatengenezeka kwanza. Infrastructure ndio itakuja kuinua huyu mtu. So currently, huyo watu wote anakuambia ati yeye ndio mthamaki. Mkimuona umwambie ni mwenda wasimu.
So what lesson have you learned from the guys, the Israelites today?
The guys, the lessons we are learning from them, because I've learned a lot I had not known, is that they are factual with the Bible. They have read the Bible, they have understood the Bible. We have not read the Bible. We are the victims. We are the people that are saying, "Odhamaki wa thayo," but we don't even understand where it is. We are the people that we are talking about. There is coming of a Messiah. We don't know how the Messiah is coming. You don't even know a scripture that says Moses was a black man. We don't know every single scripture that says Jesus was a black man. We don't have a single scripture. You don't know anything about the Bible. You see, those people, they had the Bible, the original Bible with them, that has 83 books. The original Bible they had with it. I also have mine. We have the 66 book that was written by King James. King James was a Freemason.
So it was twisted.
We are using a twisted Bible. They are using an original Bible. That is the greatest difference between we and them. Sure. So they are they are a step ahead of us. We are reading kale karaini kanasema Jesus wept. Another karaini tunasoma God will bless you. That with this and they are speaking categorically on how we go back to the law of God. That for this thing to be established, it is the mercy of God returning to us because we have returned to Him. So it is not about being saved. It is not about going to church or being holy or of Dioma. You know how to deny na Dolibakuka to Limanianda. It's about following the law and the statutes of God. Period. That is what will bring God to us. Nothing else. Not you atisema ati Yesu alikuja kuleta sheria na sheria ndio serikali. Sasa wewe unajua karaini kamoja Jesus wept that you are going to be blessed. Yeah? Mali yako itarudishwa. These people are deep rooted in the word, and you can only set yourself free if you are deep rooted in the word, not deep rooted in prophetic words.
Also, in regards to the question that you have answered, you have told us that the King James version was written.
King James himself was a Freemason.
Can you elaborate?
And the one that interpreted the Bible is Shakespeare. Shakespeare never believed even in God. He just did an interpretation. The man who financed is a king, is a Briton, from the royal family. Working for the royal family, and the royal family is the owner of the Church of England, and Church of England is owner of Anglican Church, and Church of England is also owner of the Freemason. The head of Church of England is the head of the Freemason. Are you getting me? And the head of the Freemason and Church of England is the head of Anglican Church, and the head of the headquarters of Anglican Church is Canterbury, where Kiengei was visiting yesterday. It is Canterbury. Canterbury is headed by the head of Freemason, and he's also the head of the Church of England, who is also the head of the Anglican Church.
What was the aim of twisting the Bible? Why did they hide the original Bible?
No. The Bible talks about black man. Moses was a black man.
Even I heard Solomon.
Solomon was a black man. Jesus was a black man. I've gone to Russia to verify that, and I discovered Jesus was black. They have their photos, they have everything. But now remember, they brought a Mzungu, who is a relative of the Pope. His name is what? There is a Pope. A relative of that Pope is the one that was brought to us, a photo of his, that this is how Jesus looks like. And this is the man that we have kept in our houses. This is the man that you see in the crosses. He's this way. That man is a man in Britain, from Britain. And is a relative of one Pope. So you can imagine, they twisted the story so that African will not understand themselves. Because the Bible is all about African. The Bible is written, the entire story of the Bible revolves around Africa. Look here, as these guys were saying, which is true, Israel was part of Africa until when they dug the Suez Canal to separate Israel from Africa. But Israel is part of Africa. And Israel was occupied by black people. Are you getting me? And these black people, they're the Negroes. The Negroes are the Bantu. When we migrated coming down, we migrated from Israel, which Israel is part of Africa. So it was one land, one mass land.
And it was called Misri.
And it was called Misri. And therefore what happened, they had to kill our story, they had to dig a trench, a Suez Canal, to separate Israel from Africa. But Israel is an African country. But the occupant now are conmen from America, from England, from all over the world.
You see, Jesus was crucified like the one that we know, Jesus.
Yes.
But was he not crucified?
He was crucified this way. But the one we have, the Muzungu, is this way.
Why?
It's about, there's this question of stealing destinies of people. The cradle of mankind is Africa. Esau and Jacob were from one womb, but Esau was a white man, and Jacob was a black man. They came from the same womb. But Jacob was blessed by God. Esau was not blessed by God. And that's why Jacob was able to steal the destiny. The Esau are the white men, the white people, and Jacob is the black people. Are you getting me? So it's a matter of you and your brother scheming against you, and they be turning out to be clever than you.
For we as the black men, our forefather, we come from Jacob, right?
Yeah.
Then Esau is the white, is the forefather of the white generation.
Yes.
So sisi ndio ambao tulichukua nini yao.
Yeah.
Tuliiba baraka.
Hawakuwa na inheritance yake, haikuwa na baraka. It cost us to suffer.
So right
Wakati Jacob alinunua birthright, alikuwa nafikiria iko na kitu. Instead ilimsababishia mateso. Alienda kwa Laban, akafanya kazi miaka 21 ndiyo apate mke. Ni mateso ya kuiba birthright. Until wakati malaika wa Mungu alikuja, wakang'ang'ana naye usiku. Kisha wakati aling'ang'ana naye usiku, akagundua ni malaika wa Mungu, akamwambia malaika akamwambia, unaitwa nani? Akamwambia naitwa Jacob. Akamubadilishia jina, akamwita Israel. That is how the destiny was restored back to Jacob. The destiny of the black man was restored back by him being asked, what is your name? Identity. So when these people came to Africa, they came to steal the identity. Because when you lose your identity, you will colonized, you are used, you are destroyed. You are completely shattered because you have no root. Identity is your root.
Thank you, Apostle. As we complete, allow me to take you back kiasi to our politics. We have the current cabinet secretary of the team, Kipchumba Murkomen. He has been there for a few months. And since his appointment into that docket, the surge of insecurity in our country has been rising. So the question is, we had Muturi being fired for incompetence, the cabinet secretary of public service. If the president is working against incompetence, should Kipchumba Murkomen continue to hold that docket?
The only good thing with the Ruto, he knows how to reward. He's a rewarder. He rewards his royal people. Remember, Murkomen was fired by Uhuru because of supporting Ruto. Ruto, if you support him, he will support you to the end. So it's not about what you do, how good you are, what you can be able to do. Again, we don't have a cabinet in Kenya. It is a show of because of rubber stamping. The cabinet is Ruto, and Ruto is the cabinet. They don't make any question, they don't make any decision. They just go to the meeting ya cabinet, wanafanya muhuri, lakini decision yote ni Ruto. Hata ukienda all departments zote za serikali, it's Ruto. And if it's not Ruto, it's Ruto. They just rubber stamp. So usiblame Murkomen. Murkomen anaweza kuwa na idea mzuri, anaweza kuwa na kila kitu kizuri, but if Ruto is not for it, it is not there. Welcome.
That was a good one. Ilikuwa mzuri sana.
Kwa mzuri. Utalipa pesa ngapi?